What's up, y'all? It's Lone Wolf. So today I decided to come back and just start pulling apart this Jeep. I got downtime today. Brought a pack out bag. I'm just gonna start ripping stuff apart and doing another episode for the show. But yeah, so I'm gonna set you guys here for now, okay? Shooting random bolts right now, pulling stuff. So right now I'm just looking at pulling it apart. So I need sorry, I'm still getting set up. So. So right now I'm just kind of shooting it apart. So mind you, I'm not hanging on to anything, so that's kind of why I'm just rushing through it. I'm just gonna kind of get stuff done. But should be clipping wires, but I like to keep harnesses in some good shape here. So that, start pulling clips, man. Throttle cable here. I gotta yank that off. The V8's a lot harder to work on because you have to kind of jump up in there, but it's really not too bad. As long as you know what you're doing with it. But I'm gonna take some pulleys off, get the front done. So first things first, let's go. Start pulling radiator hoses. Hope y'all have been well. So as you can see, got myself some shirts made. Had this one for a bit, but you can find them for sale if you want anybody interested in them. I get them for work mainly, so, but I think they're about like $20 a piece. They're not that expensive. They fit pretty good, but I'm kind of coming out with my own merch right now, so I'll probably do like a show on it, like an episode on merch that I got coming. But right now, I've been sporting the shirts and the hoodies, mainly just at work if I don't have a one-piece on. And as you can see, it's not very cold out, so right now it's not sweatshirt season for me. Once again, the straight six is really easy. I've been looking for a 4.0 head. I haven't been able to find one anywhere. None around here, so I'm probably gonna end up buying a parts car to do it, just to pull it apart. So once again, I'm on downtime. So for some reason, when you're mobile, there's a lot of times where you have dry seasons. This happens to shops too sometimes, where you'll have a dry season. So last, I'd probably say a month, maybe 2 weeks, I've been completely dry. I haven't had any calls, nothing like that. So mainly just been getting stuff together and working on the Jeep. But a whole other thing, you know. So it just is what it is. Sometimes you'll notice you have dry seasons, dry spells, you know. But it's a matter of just getting through. Everybody goes through it, dude. So if you start up a mobile business and you realize that you're having a dry month, it's really not that out of the ordinary. Just a heads up. It's one of those things, man, you know. Kind of weird to have a dry season when it's nice out. That's something I've always kind of like scratched my head on. Why wouldn't you take advantage of the weather? But okay. One thing I will say, I'll get this clamp out here. One thing I will say is about doing mobile mechanic is when you have dry seasons, up your tools. Do stuff like this here. Sorry, I'm looking under the radiator. It doesn't have a blown head, I don't think so. But start messing around in yards. Figure out your own cars, whatever you're doing. I mean, it's just helpful. What I did recently, so I offered $100 for front, $100 for rear brake job. So $200 front and back, you buy parts. You can come up with specials when you're running in dry season if you want to try and get your way through. So that's something I did. I went buying tools, tool shopping and stuff. So I picked up something I was going to show you guys before the video, but I didn't get a chance. I just kind of rushed in here because it's getting to be around noon. The yard's closed at like, I think 5 o'clock, so I wanted some time to be able to do this. But what can I say? I bought this this brake caliper tool set made from Orion Tools. I'll probably show you guys. I did some modifications to the rear, to the hatch of my cargo area of my Jeep. I'm going to be running out of the Jeep here for a while. I'm having issues with a van. I really want a van going, but I've been having some issues with getting that up and going. It's an ongoing battle right now, man. I've been going through a lot, so what else can I tell you guys? I finished one of my books is done, or 2 of them actually. So Footprints 1, Footprints 2 finished up. I'm working on the next few, but I've been so freaking just all over the place trying to get my Jeep together and get things together. So money's always an issue, you know, so that's what it is. But let's see. Right now I'm just kind of pulling stuff here. Mind you, I'm not keeping any hardware in this, so obviously when you do your Jeep head, here's your pulley here, so I'm gonna throw a bunch of this in the trunk. So when I do this at Junkyards, one thing I do is I take any hard parts, so pulleys, this and this, I just throw it in the trunk. I don't make a mess here, so you don't need people chirping at you, get mad. And I don't think I brought my fan tool, so we might be doing a punch and a hammer method on it. But I've got a 36mm fan wrench in the car. I might just go get it, we'll see. If I don't have time today, I might just be I might just come back. Kind of depends on how it goes for me today, but I've got a lot going on right now. I just have I got downtime for a little bit, so I figured, what the heck, I might as well do this. And I really didn't know what to do with the whole Junkyard series thing, so a lot of it is I'm just kind of talking to people and, hey, what kind of car you got, you know, what are you working on, maybe I can help you out, and I'll do a video on it. But see, one thing I'm going to tell you is if you pull a PCV valve from a Jeep, a lot of times they break. I'm just going to let you know that, so buy replacements if necessary. So All right. We'll pull the spark plug wires here. This one's a distributor van, so it's a distributor on the back, the coils up front. So this is older than my generation. I just decided to come out here and start screwing around. Not necessarily trying to get away from home, nothing like that, but it's just how it's been lately. So this episode's kind of a little bit different. I'm just kind of running through things, to be honest. Not much talking, I suppose. But... oh, come on, baby. I'm stuck. Other thing I'm not really doing is running a flashlight. So I found out if I run my flashlight on my camera, it drains the battery significantly. So I'm kind of avoiding that right now, but if I have to show you something, I'll do it like right here. Get a light in there, you know. There's transmission lines, of course, this and that, but you can see there's an under pan here. So we're gonna grab a trim tool. I'll find that other socket, I swear. Yeah, this thing's busted the fuck out somewhere. This is an older Jeep too. I'll put the make and model in it, but okay. Socket. Ugh. Go back underneath. Just drain plug to the radiator right there. It's kind of annoying on these old ones, but it is what it is. Kind of see what's holding this up. Pretty sure that fan's got to come out with it, so I should have brought that fan tool. But we're gonna try something a little different here. And that one, generally you have to use a ratchet. I just bit it at the end, rashed it, so just heads up. Sometimes when it comes to junkyards, I'll take shortcuts, so just a heads up on that. Shit, what am I doing with the trim tool? There we go. These are clips, okay, for this. A lot of times you can just press them out of place. These are retaining clips for the fuel rail, so right up in there. Generally you can put a screwdriver in there. I have a trim tool, but a screwdriver will mount. Just in case someone needs it, because people come in here for these. So for these, you need a fuel line tool. I have one of those, but I'm not going to use it. It's in the. I got a whole bunch of crap in the Jeep. I'll show you at the end of the video. I went seriously tool shopping, but I went shopping for organization. So not everything I have is in one box. Anything I don't have to take apart today, I'll come back out here and I'll do it on day 2. So I'll probably only strip this until so far. But this is kind of the first wave of crap. One thing I will recommend on the V8 or the 6-cylinder is You can do your obviously take your manifold bolts out, okay? But you're gonna want to shoot the downpipe bolts. You shoot those so you have some flex room. Once again, use extensions. So I probably won't have much of a tool list, but it's 13s and 14s, 10 millimeters. I'll be using a myriad of stuff, so kind of banking on this brake special here, so we'll see if that picks up. Okay, so they're screwing around, they get locked in there. Like that. Pop. So trim tool, hammer on it with something, pop it up. Open out, that one's destroyed, but whatever. A lot of people, so you get a lot of rust around these. You'll find cracks, you'll find this, that. You can get these pretty cheap. You can refinish them, clean them out, do whatever you need to do, re-gasket them, but I would say they make replacements online. I would get a replacement for it if you're doing a thermostat. Just do the housing with it. It's just something I do. When it comes to your bleeder screw, so I'm pretty sure that right here that I just took out is your bleeder screw. So anytime, like I told you about hanging this up, if the car doesn't have a bleeder screw, you hang up your coolant overflow. Hey, there's the train. You use this, unscrew it. Of course, it's got some thread lock on it too. So you're gonna back it out just enough where you can see bubbles coming from it. And once you run it till you see no more bubbles, you see fluid start to come out, you tighten it back down. So technically that's the bleeder screw for this car. So start pulling apart linkage here. This one has a pinch clip. It'll rock back into place there. So it's got one on bottom, one on top. Those don't fit. So if you're pulling that, your best bet, me trusty old needle nose. Made by Pittsburgh, by the way. So, squeeze. Without squeezing your fingers. Pull your linkage through. We're almost done. So, we got a clip in the back. Front, you can see it has a hose. That thing's in there good all the time. I always have a problem getting that one out. I'm just sitting there yanking on that one for like 10 minutes. I'm like, dude, come on. So there's a clip for your idler control. So we can flip this out of the way here and start working on that to get it out. So we're exposing the intake. Still some gas pressure in here. So generally you use, I think it's a 5/8 fuel line tool. I should have grabbed it. It's sitting in my, for some reason I throw my fuel line tools in my 1/4 inch box, my small kit, and I hardly ever use 1/4 inch. I use 1/4 inch when I really need something that's tricky, but generally I hardly ever use 1/4 inch. So it depends on what I'm working on. So it just kind of depends. I'm gonna get that coolant hose out of there. Has this weird, strange drought that I go through, which is strange because taxes come back, so it's like there'll be a tax rush, but generally it's like when summer starts, it's wild, dude. Like I'm freaking busy all the time. So right now it's linkage. This has kind of the same deal here, a pinch clip. We're trying to move it. I'm just pulling hoses. I don't really care right now. Looking around. And by the way, this isn't how you take a linkage off. I was doing it because I want it out the way. So, that. She's overboard. We'll cut it soon. So, AC lines. These ones are off the compressor, so somebody kind of messed with something in here. So, okay. As you can see, once you're down to intake here, shoot that sucker. Once you're down to intake, you're going to go through your electrical, so all four on each side. Okay, clips are disconnected. You want your fuel rail mounts. Don't lose those bolts, by the way. The way you remember these bolts is they run a Torx along with it. So when you're tearing stuff apart, I do a lot of stuff where I'll take everything I tore apart and put it in Ziploc bags, and I'll label it with Sharpies. That's the best way I do it with head gaskets or any deep job. Either way, otherwise I'm using a parts tray, and I know how things go back together. It just depends on how you do it. But save these. I do. I put them in there so anything, the fuel rail bolts on this are really easy to remember where they are. It's just because of that Torx on the top. So we're gonna keep going through this. This is a support bar, so just remember that. Let's see. Oh, I need a deep. Where's my 13 deep? So yeah, once things start to pick up, I can start doing more how-tos. So this is a how-to technically, but it's more of I'm just tearing this apart to kind of show people stuff. So that's a 14. So I'm gonna. Alright. 14. Embrace. I don't really care. So your goal is you're getting these heads off. I'll probably have to come back and get the fan tomorrow unless I can get it off, but I may be able to get it off by just taking the water pump out. But we'll see what we can do. The bracket, of course, is another thing. So we work our way from front all the way to back. I would recommend taking the fan out first. Always drain your fluids, that type of stuff. Of course, you got a coil clip right here. That's out. And the more you work on Jeep, dude, the easier it is to understand them. So there's the coolant overflow. I really don't care today. So radiator cap, just in case somebody needs it. That's the problem with these here, is these run screws. So, well, they run Phillips heads. Freaking helicopter up there, sorry. So they run Phillips heads. These seize up a lot. So with these bolts, when you're replacing your ignition coil, use PB Blaster on both of these. And if you cannot get these out, I would recommend, like say you strip them a bit, use a Torx socket and like drill into it a little bit and hammer a small Torx to get it out. So that's and spin it out with like an impact or a socket, because a lot of times you use a screwdriver on that, you can see they corrode really bad. They're really close to heat, which is surprising. There's no freaking heat shield. That's something I always wondered about these, why they have no heat shield. Okay, breather hose, get it out of the way. A lot of times, of course, you're not going to be clipping stuff, so I'm not clipping harness is that much. But see, there's a vacuum fuel line here. So get that out. Trim tool in between, sneak it up, pow, got it out. You make some marks, of course, but whatever. We're screwing around with a junkyard car, so. Which, if it was a customer's car and it was this high up in the air, I would be under, I'd be up on top here, so. That's just what I'm gonna do, because we're gonna start looking at the back, so. Let's hop up on top of it. Okay. Now you look in the back, what do you need to take out, okay? Well, we'll start pulling wires and shit just to get them out of the way. The straight sticks is way easier. This is why I like coil packs, to be honest. Okay, I really don't care, so we're pulling out wires, doing this, doing that. So that fuel line has to come out there. That's one of the one things that does have to come out, so. How do we get that out with a fuel line? You can't really. You can try and sneak something in there. Twist it. Once again, we're at a junkyard, so. Somebody's texting me. Line tools. They're like $8 at Harbor Freight for a kit. I think I paid $15 actually for the good ones. But you can get them cheap at Harbor Freight. See the clip in there. Generally, a 5/8 fuel line, it squeezes in there. These are kind of tough to get out. What I'm going to do is take the top bracket off. I could use AC Delco with it, but today is not going to be that day. So once again, keep your bolts in order, label them for the top bracket. Line is out. You can pull your injectors off, okay? I'm gonna open up a back seat. Somebody might need those. We'll leave them in here. I want these seats really bad. I'm looking for a pair of black leathers for Sarge. So I might be doing that here soon too. We'll see. So, pretty sure those are a 13. Yep. On one hand, it's sorry, but these are intake bolts, okay? 13 millimeters. I can't really see crap back here. Okay. I'm gonna pull that first one. So we're gonna start pulling this harness back as far as we can. So your main goal is to get your wiring and your vacuum to the sides. So you want everything out of the way. There's a problem with that because it's freaking hard. It's a pain in the butt, but you got your brake booster line there. There's your brake booster line, okay? Off to the side. This side is tough. The reason why this side is harder is because you have the brake booster. You got all this crap in the way, so you have barely any room. So a lot of times I recommend there's flex head ratchets, a myriad of extensions, stuff you can really get in here with. So like here, oh, I just pulled a wire through. You can pop wires out. The plugs aren't that bad. Use shorter extensions. We're going to shoot the power steering, so we should probably get the pump out of the way. Pick. So your hard line, pretty sure it goes straight down. So what we're gonna do is work on getting things out. That's a hard line that goes to the pump itself. So Pretty sure that is a water pump line right there. So stick that right here for now. Try not to drop a camera too. So. Okay, get that off of there. If you got a line that won't come off like this, grab your pair of pliers. Slowly rock it, okay? So to break that inner, it heats up to the hose. So you give it a turn, okay, like that. You can use a pick on the inside of it too. A lot of people don't use pliers on it, so they don't want to puncture them. One hand, dude. Oh yeah, that's cool. Okay, that's out of the way. Another wire. The coils, hang on to these, make sure you don't lose them, bag them up for your spark plug wires. So there's a lot of stuff in here you want to label. Grab it out there. So work on tucking your harness. Working through it, man. There's one clip right here, it's a harness clip. In the back, pull it. Okay. Get the leaves and shit out of here so we can see. Well, and like any car, the 5.4 liter Ford is the same way. Most cars, when it comes to head gasket, that's what you're fighting. Is you're pushing it, you're pulling things and pushing harnesses out. So bag and label, intake bolts. Replace these sensors while you're in here, or clean them up at least. That's something I recommend. Don't screw around. So pull some more of these. Can't really see, pretty bad oil leak back here. So this was probably valve cover that leaked in here. When the inside of these valve covers leak on these engines, they sit in these little galleys in here on top of the intake, and you can smell them, dude. Once you smell oil burning, you can kind of, that's where I look first generally. If I see an oil leak or I'm losing oil, is I look here or I look at the pan, or it'll be, you know, dripping down the side. You'll see smoke. If it's dripping from the side, it's touching exhaust. So as you can see, it was pretty significant on this side. So that goes to the stupid intake top. Okay, so what do we have left? Well, shoot this top bolt out. So this bracket has to come off. You can see that was attached there. There's a bolt that blocks right there. So the best way to do this without the fan so off is you have to shoot that off. Oh, there, well, it's connected actually. So it's connected to the bracket, but you have one underneath there. And it touches here, so there's no way you can get it off unless you get the pulley off. Through here. Yeah, so that's a flex head on it, okay? Alright. Oh, that one's in there good. Somebody thread locked this one pretty good, so. So if you got squealing coming from up top, I generally replace that pulley, this pulley, and I grease the alternator pulley like I showed you in the first video that was kind of dinking around. But I like to replace those two. You can re-grease these, so you see they get really dirty in the back. So you can clean them up, re-grease them, throw them in. You can try that. They sell bearings for them too, so a lot of people just replace the whole freaking pulley. It's really not a big deal. I personally, because I have a bearing press, I use the press, but dude, the pulleys are really inexpensive. If you switch one out, so say you pull that one out, and say you pull that one out and you go with a new one, keep your old one and re-grease it or replace the bearing and keep it as a spare. So what I do is I have like a DeWalt bag or something like that, and I'll hang on to a bunch of old crap and I'll replace bearings and this and that, because especially in a work vehicle. So if I'm working with Sarge, of course, I'm gonna do that, because if I have something go out on the road, I've got a fuel pump in the back, you know what I mean? So it's, I switch it on the side of the road. I got all the tools in the car. Why the hell wouldn't I? So before you do anything with the pump, loosen up your screw for this. This is the same way for the Dodge Dakota, I believe, where you loosen, you have a inlet, a couple of these pipes that run from it. So the straight 6 has one like this, but it doesn't have a straight hard line. So that's something to know. That one needs to come off. Make sure my microphone is good. That's a 12 millimeter, so shoot that all the way off, right? That has a swing on it where that mounted there, so you can pull your pipe out. That'll go in the car here in a second, so harness out of the way to pull this while it's still in there with the fan on it. I wouldn't recommend that, okay? Or take your fan off with the shroud. A lot more room, it's a lot quicker, but I don't have my tool on me right now, so we're gonna do it this way. Power steering has to come out because you have to get that bolt out. You have a pulley in the way. So what we're going to do first, is break these loose, okay? Wrench on this one, can't get it. I don't think you can really see anything in here, so I'm just breaking some bolts loose, alright? Like I said, the V8 on the Jeep has, that's where the lower radiator hose goes. Lower radiator hose goes is to the pump, so it kind of serves as this like middle of the spider web for the coolant system, which is how they all are, but this one uses a lot of tubes and it's not complex, but so the bracket itself has those two, so power steering has to come undone, okay? When it comes to this, I'm having some hard problems getting this out. So one way to get these, by the way, without taking that line off, see the holes in the pulley? Look at that, it's probably what, 10, 12 millimeter? So let's see if we can sneak a 12 in there. It's 13. Okay. Nice swivel head. Okay. Okay, so you can see, you can sneak them through the pulley and break them loose. Okay. I don't really have much of a place to put this, so now you're staring at me for a while. Okay. Bolt number 2. Break it loose through the pulley, okay. I'm using a flex head because of the stupid fan shroud. But that's how it is. So you get those two out, and I think there's one on the bottom here That's the one that's tough to get, is the one on bottom. So it's a blind one. So I'll just say that it's a blind bolt. I'm not kind of cleaned up. I got shit in the way. So okay, so you pull the bolts out through the holes in the pulley. Label them, power steering mount bolts. That one's going out in the dirt, whatever. If I had this fan shroud out of here, I'd be using the AC Delco and just running them out. So I'm working tight space. This is if you don't. A lot of time you can just use a punch and a sledgehammer to get that nut loose. It's a reverse thread. So the fan, most cars or trucks that have a fan, manual fan, they're reverse thread. So make sure you check your owner's manual before that. So, or at least online. That's what I recommend. Hot, hot, hot. Once again, label that bolt. Obviously I'm not going to. So right now it's not coming loose. I got one more, so you can reach it from this side, okay? So it's a blind bolt. You can reach it from here. You have to use your ratchet, slide it. Let me get rid of this stuff. Okay. It's totally blind. Once again, I'd say use the flex head. Flex head will be your best friend here. Not much spinning it by hand, by the way. So you're going to be using a ratchet. Okay, power steering, it's loose. This can be picked up like so. Squeeze it out. But your banjo bolt, one thing you can do, by the way, when you're doing this job, is you can take the power steering and just set it in the air box. So you don't have to take any lines off, you don't have to bleed a pump, you don't have to do any of that. You pull it out, there's the third bolt by the way, label it, and swing it over here into the air box. This kind of sucks because this is where your tools are generally when you're doing this. So from this point on, your tools go down here, so you're not losing shit. So what that exposes is your two bolts here, which I believe they're 14s. Let me take a look. That's 13. It exposes those last two bolts. I'm sure there's some on the bottom too. Right now we're just working on the bracket. So we just want that bracket out. Okay. Okay. From this side, oh come on baby. Switch up to an AC Delco. It's gonna be a bit of a pain in the butt to get out, so ratchet. It's really the angle of that thing that causes brackets loose, okay? So like this, we're just gonna spin these out by hand because we already broke them loose. And that's your one thing that's left in here. Like I said, when it comes to bracket bolts, I believe the bolts are different lengths. They may not be. So that was one thing I didn't really look at. Get that out of there. Brackets off, rat seat. So, I'm sweating like mad out here on me. Well, get rid of that shit. So now we exposed our pump, okay? Which, that's a good thing if you don't have that, because you can take off your pump with it, okay? If there's not a bolt that's hidden by the pulley down here, and I don't believe there is. So, first thing first, what do we got down here? 14. Okay. This bolt here, 14, you can't really reach it, so that's pain in the butt. We're going to use that method that I taught you guys in the last video. We're using a buddy wrench. So, see if there's a place to hold it. Make a view. Probably not, so probably gonna be a one-handed deal. Okay, so 14. I'll slip the buddy wrench on. That's to get that one loose, okay? You have to use a wrench for it. You'll touch the pulley with the socket. It's not gonna end up good, so ratcheting wrenches help go faster. I didn't bring mine with me. Actually, I'm ordering new ones too, which I'm gonna be leaving a review on them. They're these super long neck. They remind me of gear wrench ratchets, but they're not. They're I can't remember the brand of them. I'll stick them up here. Okay, there's one bolt. So the other one's here. Dude. There we go. I did a video on a Dodge. I actually think it was a, oh well. I think it was a 3.7 V6. I think it was a TikTok. It wasn't a YouTube. And I did one on a water pump. All right. We're gonna disconnect this one here. So, oh, I put my 8mm in the car. Okay. My gears are turning here. Hold on. I've got an 8 wrench. So we're gonna loosen this little by little here, but generally we could just pull the radiator hose from the bottom if we wanted to. It's gonna take a little bit of time to screw around here. So anyways, I did a Dodge water pump, a 3.7 V6 I think it was, and it was the first one I videotaped. When you go to the store and you buy your water pump to do one like this, do not get the blue stuff that they sell in the packets. Go to the aisle and buy Permatex Gray water pump and thermostat housing. This stuff is way better for sealing here. You get a gasket with it anyway, but I seal them up really tight. I would just recommend doing that and not going with blue. The reason is the blue shit takes forever to dry. I don't mind using it on plastic necessarily, so you have like plastic thermostats, that type of thing, the housings. I don't mind using them on plastic, but when it comes to water pumps themselves, that gray stuff, Permatex Gray, is probably the best stuff you can use. Don't buy Permatex Blue or whatever blue stuff comes with it. Just get the bottle of Permatex. It's like $8. It might be a little more than that, I don't remember. I use it for anything coolant related, so. It might be wise to replace your hoses. I'm pretty sure if you can't find a hose kit for it, take your hoses into like O'Reilly's or AutoZone, wherever you're going, and they'll give you stuff for it, man. It's not really not that big of a deal. So those bottom bolts down there you can see. So okay, gassing out a little bit. Need some water, but my idiot self left him in the car. There was a wrench, being Butterfingers right now, so let's see if we can shoot that one, but I don't know. That hose is a pain in the ass. Actually, somebody cut it on there. You can see somebody already cut the hose, so maybe we won't mess with this one. Let's pull it out with the hose, call it good. So I don't think an AC Delco is going to fit in here, but we're going to give it a shot. So. Reach in. Maybe it will. Okay. Push the bolt back in. Detach. Yeah, that one's a lot longer than the water pump bolts are generally different lengths. So when it comes to the bracket, you can get away with it. When it comes to the pump, you cannot. So make sure you're labeling bolts. That one's in there good. For the corner down there. Flex had the pain in the butt to get on there. Hold on. Putting stress on the AC Delco. I don't like to turn bolts with it. Other people would probably just do it and who cares, but you can see there's one right there. Okay. Flex head. Switching back and forth. So, being said, I'm not sure why this car's in here yet, so that's going to take a long socket. Why the Jeep landed in here. So for me, it doesn't really look like a head gasket. That's the problem. So I'm wondering if maybe it's the transmission. So, as you can see, deep 14 with a flex head. You can get this one off just fine, okay? There it is. Fan shroud's gonna come with it. Set you here. Ah, okay. So an upper shroud. This is something I didn't know. but the upper shroud and bottom shroud connect by clips, okay? So technically, you can get this out. I didn't know this. And a lot of these fan shrouds, they're different with every vehicle. So sometimes they're one piece, like the Ford vans, they're one piece. Okay. Fan shroud. Alright, so our water pump's out. It's like underneath the Dodge Charger. So they have clips that run 1, 2. I cut that one, but I would recommend if you take that this out and the clip or the clamp is facing down, use a pair of long needle nose and get in there and pull it. So what can we say? Well, we're partway there here, so we're gonna be pulling heads, which I believe I was mistaken on this one, so I'll change it in the video, but I didn't realize that this is a 5.2 liter, not a 4.7, so it's a bigger V8. This is a different generation than I usually work on, so it's not a WJ straight 6, which is, that's what I favor. I don't really like the V8 very much. It's just, there's a lot to do on it, so that's generally why it's like whatever's easy to work on and lasts a long time is like my favorite power. That's how I am. So we're taking a break. We've got the entire top pretty much undone other than the back here. So what can I give you for advice? You can see somebody used just the gasket. So sometimes they come with rubber little tiny gaskets, sometimes they come with these and you can peanut butter sandwich them together. I usually peanut butter sandwich these, so I don't know why. Maybe it's just a preference of mine that I do it that way. I'm sure somebody will give me shit for it. I really don't care, dude. So where are we at? Well, we gotta take off exhaust. Our intake's gotta come out. Valve covers, then we move from there. Once you get the pump off, you get everything top in like this. It's pretty cake, to be honest. It's pretty quick. So I may do a day 2 on this. I don't know yet. So we've got an intake bolt in the back. Okay, another clip right here. I'm done. So I'm looking in the back here. I can't really see as much as you guys can, but I'm pretty sure that's every single intake bolt. Distributor. Have fun. So pull the distributor out of the way here. Alright. And you can use a deep socket on this with a swivel. Or you can use an extension with a short socket, whatever you want to do. Just make sure you got enough room to clear. I might be able to get an AC Delco on here. I'm gonna actually test that out and see. But looks like we got 2 bolts back on this one, so kind of bounce with my buns here. Okay. Back one, we got a wiring harness in the way. Pull it forward. Ratchet's got to go in from an angle. Mind you, I have no one to film me right now, so got you sitting here. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Pick this harness up. One of these I got out enough I can pull it by hand. That's hot, dude. I'm going straight out there. Bolt. Okay, so we're gonna try an AC Delco and see if we can get it. And we can. Driver's side back bolt. So I think it's, yeah, that's the back bolt. I got one more. This is the hard one because you have a freaking harness in the way any way you do it. So we're gonna try and pull forward on it, okay? On all of it. I'm actually gonna swing a leg in here and get some leverage. Hopefully not pop a shoelace because I've done that before. So I'm gonna stick you right in there. You can see this one right here. I'm gonna kind of straighten you out right there, around the back of the harness. Okay. This is the one intake bolt that's hard to get to, and you'll find yourself sitting in here. See if we can pull it. There we go. So I think we've got every single intake bolt out. I know our luck, we'll probably have to pull the distributor with it, but maybe not. I don't think actually it does. So what we're gonna try and do, I'm gonna try and pop something underneath here. See if I can get it to go. Valve cover. So we know now, in order to get this off, we have to have the valve cover out because of the lips. Those look like what, 12 millimeters? They're not 13s, so we're gonna start shooting valve covers. Move from there. Where are we at here? 12 millimeter deep, okay. We're going for gold on this one here. Okay. So pull them. Pillars. This one's a mess, dude. Okay, another one. Done. Start here. Okay. This side might be a little tricky, but you'll get my grip here, so in between the AC line. We're gonna move that harness out of the way now, so let's finish this side. It was able to shoot, okay. We barely got that one too, so pull that out. Okay. I have to climb back up in here and start dinking around. You can see we got a lot of our bolts. Label them. I'm throwing them, but label them where they go so you know where to put them back. A lot of times just take a video or take pictures. Come on, baby. Set you here for a second. Yeah, it's the same size. It's just in there in a way that's really hard to get to. Let's see if we can. You know, that's always going to be a pain in the butt for us. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna clean my hands real quick. The mount for the fuel line is simply a clip that sits on the bolt in there. So once you got all these out, you pull this, okay? Pull valve cover. I don't really care. Whatever. Okay. So we've got our rocker assembly, our push rods, and valves, springs, all that stuff, head bolts. So we're gonna pull both of these. This actually should come free, so yippee. Pull the intake and grab it by the teeth here. Move it there for a second. So that's what the inside looks like here. Your push rods go down, valves in. So the heads really aren't that big. Hear that? So we can free up a harness here too, okay? So you see here we got a lot of grounds that are sitting on there. Okay, so if you take off this ground here, okay, save the nut. You don't want to lose the nut. So you can pull off a whole bunch and free up your harness so it moves freely, okay? I've already done this before, but we can tuck it out of the way on this side. Now we're working here, okay? One thing that is a pain in the butt is your AC lines. So generally you won't have these removed. These will still be in your freaking compressor. But this person actually pulled the compressor out of it, so the compressor's missing. That was one step that I skipped on here. What's going to say? We can take off our tensioner. I'm just gonna have to come off anyway. So move your grounds down, move your harness out of the way. I already unbolted most of this. There's a couple more retaining bolts in there. Look at that, I think it's a 60. But if you strip the bolts on your coil, on your ignition coil, you can take this tensioner and mount off and drill them out a lot easier outside the car. So something I would recommend. If you screw up those bolts with the Phillips head, you can pull it and it's a lot easier. So I got one bolt out. We're going to use this to our advantage here. Oh, I'm going to have to go in a little different here, I think. Let's bend the stick out of the way. Usually I would not do that. If you have a customer car, I'm not doing that to you. So let's shoot this out. Okay. Might be a bottom one on it, but like if you swing it out of the way too, you can get your bottom bolt. So swing the tensioner out of the way. Generally just put a ratchet on it once you get these two out and swing it. Swing it by this middle bolt and you can get this a lot easier. It's not blind. So pull this piece off. The tensioner itself, there's one more down there, okay? So you can see through here, you reach down in here and boom, okay, the tensioner just fell apart. When that happens, your coil right here, okay? I've seen this happen before. People will strip these out. It's a good place where, say you got a cut wheel, you can just cut the thing apart, keep the thread piece in there, and just back it out. You can do easy outs, whatever you want to do. I don't really care what you do. So there's the coil. Got that side off there, okay? I'm losing stuff here. Where's my trim tool? Come on, baby. Oh, okay. These clips here, get these off, pop them up with a trim tool. Freaking easy. Extension and 12. Start pulling the other side, okay? We got that. We got. Sometimes these pull off, but not generally. So in there, trim tool with as much bite as you can. Pop them up. There you go. got that one. Oh, this side isn't fun. One I really need to get is back here. This is usually a challenge because you have a bunch of crap in the way. But if you use an impact gun upside down right here, you can spin them out. So this side, impact gun upside down, or even just a ratchet, you can get them upside down with a long extension here. You use a wobble if you have to. Sometimes a wobble's a better way to get it out. Just so you're not, oh, whatever I did with the bolt. So you're not rashing the heads a little bit. There's a little bit of play in between here that you have a little bit of play on it. So there's one more in there. Reach in there for a second. It's not, nope, not gonna go. So impact won't work. Okay, flex head all the way back. At a certain point, oh, I gotta get up in there. I hate that part of this Jeep. That's why I like cars too, is you don't have to get up in the engine bay. But sometimes it's an advantage when you can get and sit in something like this. Okay, down. Valve covers. Alright, that's not good. Okay, so where are we going from here? Well, you're going to have to unbolt your distributor, or at least your cap and rotor in here. So what we're going to do first here is we're going to start taking out rocker arms. We're going to start taking the heads apart to get them out. So see, so this part is kind of, this is where it gets easy, to be honest. Once you get to a certain point, it gets really quick. I would say once your intake's off, your covers are off, your water pump's off, you're really down to just bone bare metal, just doing what you have to do. Clean my hands again, throw all this crap in this Dodge. The water pump and fan generally not, so anything that's savable, we'll just throw it in there. Intake. See ya. Okay. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. These take a 13 millimeter, and I might be cutting it all the way short today a bit, so we'll see. That back one, you're gonna have to use a ratchet. Okay, so shift the harness over, everything out of the way. Going for these back ones here. That's the difference between this side and that side. I don't think you can reach this one with an impact. Maybe. Nope. See, that's the difference between this side and this side. So you're pulling these out. Keep these in order. So what I do is, a lot of times you can lift them out as a unit, but I set them so I will put like holes in the box that the head gasket came in with, okay? And I'll make sure that I keep them in the right order that they went back in. Just the way I do it. So you pull them as a unit. So in this case, I'm just going to be setting them in here, but you'll do it where, say you have your box right here, okay? You make holes. This is probably hard to see. I need a dirtier bumper. Here. You make your box where your gasket came in, and you make a hole, a hole, a hole, hole, and you do it by side, okay? So those two would have gone right here with the bracket with it. And you do it in order so you don't lose track of what went where. Generally, a lot of people say you can put them back together whatever way you want, yada yada. I pull them as a set. I'm just tearing this thing apart, so this is just the tear down. portion for it. Nobody really wants to push rods in them, so well, if they do, they can find them in the car next to it. In general, I'm pretty sure this car is getting crushed, so. Alright. These are, what the dude, there's literally a purple army guy on the floor. That's weird. Maybe I'm keeping that. That's for Sarge, dude. Okay, so get this out of the way. We're kind of just throwing stuff around here, so I'll probably throw a bunch of it back in the Jeep when I'm done. Going with there's a 14, a 15. I had a 16 for this, but impact 16 millimeters. Boom. I'm gonna leave one in, okay? And the reason is because we have exhaust bolts to pull out, okay? Those are head bolts down there. So your two sets of head bolts on here. You have your top row and you have your bottom row. So let's see if we can get some good view on this. In between your spark plugs, you have them. Boom, 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 boom. So in order to move any further, we have to. In order to move any further, we're gonna have to remove exhaust bolts. So we're gonna leave a couple of these tucked in with a few threads while the bottom is held in. So we'll shoot the tops through it. Replace these, of course. You can check the necks to see if they're mashed. Some people reuse them. Get ARP head studs. Those are the best that I've gotten for any head gasket. ARP head studs, they last forever. So we're gonna kind of take a look at this here. We got to get exhaust manifold bolts out. So this part, you can see, is not easy. A lot of times these will snap on you because they're rusted and they've been held in there for a long time. So what I can say about a head gasket like this is it's going to take you longer because you're labeling bolts, labeling bags. You're not tearing stuff off. You're not popping linkages out with pliers and, you know, racing through it. So it will take you longer than what I showed you on the video. What I'm kind of showing you is kind of what tools you will need. Some things I did not know when you could get the fan out of the engine with the water pump on without the shroud, which the shroud disconnects the bottom with 2 clips. I didn't know that. So this was my first time even really touching this engine at all. When it comes to the straight six, straight six is like all day long, dude. I really don't care. The V8s I was interested in. This era is not the same era that I have. It's the same type of body style. What year is it? It's something I'm going to kind of look at here is what year is this one? I don't have anything on it. Let's take a look inside the door. Okay. Data manufacturer, it's a 96, so this is an older Jeep. This is about 4 years older than mine, so it's a previous generation. A lot of the parts are the same. My generation, it comes in a couple different engine selections. Mine, I like the straight six. It's better on gas. It's not as much power. You can't tow as much with it, whatever. So with these, we learned something new today. That you can get a water pump out of it with the fan clutch assembly on. I would not recommend that. I would recommend taking your 36 millimeter fan wrench and hitting it with a sledgehammer the reverse way, or a punch and sledge works just fine. When it comes to camshafts in this thing, it operates the exact same way as the straight. So you have your camshafts that are in the block themselves. So they're not in the heads, they're in the block. That's something I want to mention. That's one reason push robs and this and this. There's just a lot involved. So the cams and the crank are in the blocks. So they use a sprocket and a chain generally to run it, or a belt, but I don't think Jeeps run belt. I think they all run chain. So Jeeps are really easy. It's just like working on the old Chevy 350s where you have to you'll turn your crank bolt when you're doing this in here, and you'll rotate your motor over, so when your valve closes, you'll bolt your rocker arms on. I've seen people who have shot them together and they end up with all bent valves everywhere. It's screwed up. Make sure when your rockers are hand tight that you're watching the valve drop. And there's a sequence to it. I'll probably put I might put a diagram at the end of the video. I might do I might do a diagram of that and torque specs, tools needed. I'm kind of looking at this really quick because exhaust here. I don't know if I'm going to tear these off today. I'm kind of tossing, oh, what should I do here? Should I do it today? Should I do it tomorrow? What the heck should I do? So a lot of it is the camera time that I have left, the life on the camera. So I'll clean up here for just a second. Oh, that's the windshield. So, what can we say? Well, it's really not that hard of an engine to take apart. The only real things outside of impact are your back bolts, which really isn't that bad. What else can we say here? Your harness is easily manipulated if you remove your grounds. Move your grounds, you can move stuff around a lot for free. You have room to work in there. It's smart to take the tensioner off and the grounds. You take that off, you have room to play. So we know that. So when it comes down to a head gasket job, you don't have to time this. You don't have to time your crank and your cams. You just have to make sure your valves are adjusted correctly and tightened properly. So there's a sequence for that. Somebody may come back for that. So I should probably put the intake back in there as well. I think this will be the end of the first video. I'm going to come back and do the exhaust on this, and maybe I might actually cut this one short where I want to pull this head so I can show you the bottom of it. So it's what am I going to do here?